Welcome to another exciting episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Bench.
Alright, well, I'm back with you again on this Wednesday morning. I have a little problem. Yesterday when I was trying to wire up the amplifier and switches, I had a little problem with the while I was putting this end on here. Let me show you here if I can get around here. I forgot this was plugged in, and I shorted the wires together, and I got a little spark out of it. And I didn't think a lot about it, but apparently must have shorted something out inside because it doesn't work. Now it puts out 12 volts at the end. It measures 12 volts, and it will light up the amp. All the little lights come on, the display comes on, everything comes on, but no sound comes out. So apparently there's not enough oomph left in this to get it up to 2 amps or whatever it needs to be. So I'm going to take this apart, use my Dremel tool. I tried to cut it with the utility knife, but it just doesn't cut very well. So I figure this abrasive wheel in there like that. Cut it, should make short order of it, I hope, and get this open. And if I can't get this one fixed, I'll go ahead and use this one here, but I'd rather not, and because this one's all wired up and everything, I'd just soon fix this one and use it if I could. So let me go do some dremeling and we'll see what happens. Alright, well, there's what it looks like in all its glory. Not really a lot to it, but enough. Could be any one of these little components shorted out. I don't see any obvious places that are shorted out. I mean, that are burned or anything like that, so where, just don't see anything like that. So right there near where the wire goes in, there's a transistor and a little IC, it looks like. So that would be suspicious to me anyway, because of its proximity to the output. Usually you can see some diodes. That may be a diode pack there, that next to it, that instead of a IC. I don't know. Just don't know. There's the fuse right there. I never noticed it before, but obviously the fuse is okay because it's putting out 12 volts. So that can't be the problem. I guess I could check it just to be sure, but I don't know. Let's check it and see what happens. Alright, well, the fuse does check good, so that's obviously not the problem. Again, if I had to guess, I would guess this transistor and something in this area. I don't think it was sufficient, the spark was sufficient to blow a transistor like that. I just don't think it was. A diode, yes, could be blown, but I doubt that a transistor like that would have gone up in smoke. A small transistor might. Like I said, that's a good possibility right there. So I guess I could check that in circuit, see what kind of reading it gets. If it's shorted, it would tell me pretty quick. Let me do that, see what happens, and I'll come. Alright, just fitting into this video, you can see that is playing. And if you follow the, let's turn this down. If you follow that clip lead there, you see that red one. There's a black one up above it. It's hard to see, but it's there. I'll show you. There it is. They come around down to this connection right here, which goes over to this. Yes, that is the power supply that I tore apart thinking was bad. Well, it wasn't, obviously. The problem, and I was warned about this by Robert, give him credit. The problem was this, actually these, I should say, switches. I made the mistake the day before of cleaning them. And all I used was alcohol. Didn't even use any kind of cleaner, you know, like just pure old, plain old rubbing alcohol. I think it was 91%, whatever it is. And I just basically, there was a couple, 3 holes there. You could get something in, so I put that in, worked the switches, worked them and worked them and worked them, and I thought, well, that'll take care of it. Well, the very next day I got up, and that's when I found that the power supply did not seem to work anymore. I could get it to light up the unit, which should have been a really good clue to me that the fact that it was working. I mean, you know, things don't come on unless they're doing something. So, you know, I proceeded to tear apart the power supply, thinking that was the problem, because it did short. I saw the spark. I thought, well, it's one of those cheap Chinese power supplies. It's probably not going to hold up to it very much, and it wasn't a big spark, but it was a spark. So anyway, you know the rest of that story. And then when I hooked up this yesterday, this new one I bought, I had the same problem. It would come on, but I was not getting any sound out. Well, lo and behold, I got to play around with this switch, and the more I played around with it, I actually got one channel to work. And then the other channel started working. Apparently the cleaning I gave to the switch did more harm than good. So that's kind of out of the loop now. I don't know whether I'm going to replace these switches or what, but not sure exactly how. I've already run one, this one here, I'm taking it apart, and I lost a piece of real tiny piece. I don't even see it anymore, it's gone. But I lost that, and like I said, it's just not been a good day. And you know, how I said, you know, once this must be a start of a bad week or something. I don't know. But anyway, I do have the mystery solved, and like I said, that power supply is perfectly fine, and I've taped it up a little bit. It'll do, you know, for my purposes. It's the only thing it's doing is powering that little Bluetooth receiver, and so I'm gonna have to rethink my switch situation here. I like the idea of having the switches switch to the different inputs, but it's not a totally necessary thing. I can just have the different ends available to me right there on the bottom, and you know, they can all be common together, and you know, just as long as I don't really use all 3 or 4 at once, it won't work. You know, I mean, it would work, but it would get inputs and outputs for different things. So anywho, that's pretty much the story from here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put this video together and put it up there, such that it is my another mistake. But like I said, it's live and learn. But like I said, Robert did warn me on these switches. He said they're not reliable. And these were actually brand new switches. They never really been used. I mean, I've had them for years, but They've never really been used. And the contacts on this, the one I took apart, like I said, it's went missing, but it was absolutely spotless. There was nothing on it. So the only thing I can figure is the contacts inside of here on these pins are where the problem is, because there was absolutely no corrosion or anything on those pins, and like I said, they were perfectly fine before I cleaned them. I should have left them alone. So, you know how that works. Anywho, you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you.